Hello and welcome to another edition of Healthy Living here on At Times. You're with me, Tabby Kumangala, and remember that this program is sponsored by MASM.
You have all your MASM information in one place. With the MASM mobile app, all MASM members register on the MASM mobile app. Download the app from Apple Store or Google Play Store. Install and open. Click register to register. Enter your membership number. The default membership number has 9 digits. If you don't succeed, try 11 digits. Choose your name, password, and OTP destination. Remember, when adding your mobile number, 265, not plus 265. You can also register with your email address easily and keep updated with your MASM account right in the palm of your hand. For more information, email infodesk@masm.mw or visit www.masm.mw.
Joining me in today's program is Dr. Natasha Banda. We're going to be talking a little about sickle cell anemia or sickle cell disease. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. We're just going to get right into it. What is sickle cell anemia?
So, sickle cell anemia, it's a type of genetic disorder that affects the blood cells, the red blood cells. Mm-hmm. So, basically, within the human body, in our blood, we have different kinds of cells that make up our blood. Now, the specific cells, the red blood cells, are also the ones responsible for carrying the oxygen that we breathe in from our lungs to the rest of our body, all the different organs in the body. They're also the ones that are actually responsible for the red color because of the specific hemoglobin that they carry. So what happens in sickle cell anemia is this it basically affects those very same red blood cells. So in people who do not have the disease, like let's say in me, for example, the red blood cells are round in shape. So they'll be nicely round in shape so that they can be easily carry oxygen properly. But then now in sickle cell anemia or sickle cell disease, there's something that happens basically in the genes of the person. So you're basically born with it. So the genes that are responsible for helping the red blood cell to act as the way that it does act, there's a disorder with those genes, and that causes the red blood cells, instead of being circular in shape, they become sickle shaped. So a sickle is basically like the shape of a moon, half moon, you know?
I was going to ask, what is that shape?
Yes.
So it's a half moon.
Yes, it's basically almost like, not very proper half, but then like a quarter moon, I would say. Yeah. A crescent shape, also known. Yeah. So when the red blood cells are that crescent shape, they're not able to carry the oxygen as efficiently as a round, proper circular red blood cell can. And not only that, but they are also more likely easily damaged. So normal person red blood cells would tend to last maybe 120 days. So that's like about 4 months or so, 3 to 4 months. Whereas in sickle cell disease, because they have this problem causing them to become that crescent shape, then they end up lasting less than a month and then get destroyed afterwards.
What are some of the causes of this disease?
Okay, so the cause of sickle cell disease is, well, it's mainly genetic. So you have two people, the parents of the person who has the disease. Both parents have to have this trait in their genes. So either both parents suffer from sickle cell disease, or maybe they're just carriers in that they have just one trait, basically, I would say, of the disease.
Is it possible to be a parent, well, both parents, and none of you have sickle cell, but your child does?
So if you're both carriers of the gene, so if you have the gene, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will suffer from sickle cell.
Okay.
Because so this is more in terms of like genetics, I would say. So just to put it in simple terms, when it comes to genes, there are two sets. We'll put it as that. To say that two sets of genes, different traits, and you can have a normal hemoglobin trait, or you can have the sickle cell hemoglobin trait. So some people, if you have sickle cell disease, then both of those sets are sickle cell. Or if you're a carrier, it means you have one set which is normal hemoglobin and another which is sickle cell. So people who are carriers of the disease, they normally don't suffer from any symptoms, but they do carry the trait with them.
So I could not have the disease, but I can be a carrier of the disease.
Yes.
Now, how do I know that I have sickle cell? What are the signs and symptoms?
So if you have sickle cell disease, normally the symptoms tend to start up when they're from about 5 months of age, I would say. That's when you normally
5 months?
Yeah, that's
a baby?
Yes, that's when you can start seeing them. It starts as early as 5 months. Some of them, it starts a little bit later on, but yeah.
But what are those signs? What are we looking out for in that 5-month-old baby? What are they doing? Is it the breathing? Is it coughing?
So it goes back to the very case of how sickle cell exactly, how it comes about, I would say. Because as we said before, your red blood cells, if they are sickle shaped, they can't carry oxygen properly the way that they're supposed to. So if your red blood cell isn't carrying oxygen properly, it means that the other organs of your body aren't receiving enough oxygen properly. So that's the main basis behind almost all of the symptoms that come up, that the specific part of your body isn't getting enough oxygen. Or the other issue is that those sickle-shaped red blood cells, they also tend to become sticky and end up blocking some of the small blood vessels, which if the blood vessel is blocked, it means that organ can't get enough oxygen in that part. So that's what brings the different symptoms. So normally the symptoms, the most common symptom is pain. So if the blood oxygen is being blocked going to, let's say, your lungs, so normally they get pain in the chest. If it's affecting your abdominal organs, they get pain in the abdomen. They also commonly get pain in the joints and sometimes even in the bones themselves. So the pain, it varies in intensity, but it can be quite very painful. And a lot of the times they do need to come over to the hospital to manage these pain crises. We call them pain crises. Yeah.
So the pain is excruciating,
yeah,
like and unbearable type.
Yeah, it can be it can be very bad.
Would you be in a position to describe that? Is it like when you get a wound or when you get a burn?
So I've never actually experienced it myself, but then I do know, like looking at the patients who I've seen who do come in with the sickle cell pain crises, you can tell that they're in so much pain, that they do need quite strong painkillers for us to be given to at least, in order to help them at least feel comfortable.
Is there an age limit? Can you not have it as a child and develop it at a later stage?
I would say normally the symptoms should start coming up in childhood. So the question is, how early in childhood will it start up? But normally, by the time the child is like past the infancy age, you would have symptoms, you would know. Yes.
So you live with it through your adult life?
Yes.
Wow. That's about sickle cell. When we come back, we're going to talk about prevention and treatment, and also if there's a cure for sickle cell. So we'll be right back after this.
Life is an up and down journey where anything can happen at any time. But at any time, you have peace of mind with MAZIM. MAZIM offers all-inclusive affordable medical aid cover in various packages of schemes in line with your budget, with a promise to take care of you and your family in that time of dire need. From giving you access to medical services at hospitals locally and abroad, emergency evacuation, dentist and optical care, all the way to funeral benefits, MAZIM is there holding your hand, keeping you covered. For details of the medical scheme you need, call 01-820-298, 01-820-543, 0888-707-100, fax 01-820-217, email infodesk@mazim.mw, or visit www.mazim.mw. MAZIM, your ultimate healthcare solution.
Welcome back. Remember, this program is sponsored by MASM. I am with Dr. Natasha Banda. We've been talking a lot about sickle cell, what it is, what the causes are, and also what the signs and symptoms are. Doctor, would you maybe explain to us, is there a cure?
So, in terms of if there's an actual proper cure at the moment, we don't necessarily have anything that can rid you of the sickle cell itself. But then we do have different treatments to at least help with the different signs and symptoms. So, as I said earlier, pain is the most common symptom that they'll tend to have. So, the main treatments that we offer include pain medication. So it can be, if it's just mild pain, then normally just your simple over-the-counter medication might help. But otherwise, they do tend to need more stronger painkillers, which are available at the hospitals themselves. Apart from that, because one of the main significant issues with sickle cell disease is how you're not getting enough oxygen in your blood, in your body. So we do give oxygen as well. Oxygen is actually really important because it also helps in stopping the progression of symptoms during an actual crisis. So it's actually very important in sickle cell disease. Apart from that, one of the other issues with sickle cell disease, which is also why it's called sickle cell anemia, is how they tend to have low blood levels of, I guess, blood hemoglobin. Because, as I said earlier, that your red blood cells, the sickle shape, they don't last very long. They get destroyed quite quickly. So another treatment is that they do tend to need quite frequent transfusions.
Blood transfusions?
Yes, blood transfusions. To at least pick up the numbers, so that at least they should have enough blood circulating in their body to carry that oxygen properly to the different organs in their body. Apart from that, the other issue is that they do tend to have they're more susceptible to infections. Because during these different crises that happen, sometimes they especially injures the spleen a little. So your spleen is basically, it's this organ that's in your abdomen, and it helps in producing cells and things that help fight off some infections. So that tends to be injured a bit, so they're more likely to get different infections, especially the kind that cause pneumonias. So treatment also will at times need antibiotics. Apart from that, they do need to have frequent vaccines as well to help prevent them getting pneumonias. So they do come in quite a bit for those. Apart from that, they also do have to also keep taking their medications, because there are different medications that they are supposed to take, even if they're not having any crisis or symptoms at the moment.
I was going to ask, like, if you're not in pain, should you still take your medication? And if so, what is that medication?
So the medication that they take, so they have the medication to help boost their blood levels. So that's the iron tablets as well as folic acid tablets. They help boost their blood levels. Apart from that, every couple of months or so, they're supposed to come in for their vaccine shot to reduce the chance of them getting pneumonias. Because the thing is, different people with sickle cell, they have different numbers of crises. Some of them, maybe they'll have like one crisis a year. Others tend to come in quite frequently, maybe 12 episodes a year. And especially the ones who have very bad episodes, then we do tend to also start them on another drug as well that helps to at least reduce the number of admissions.
So just to be clear, someone with sickle cell anemia might have a possibility of being in a hospital every single month.
Yes, it's quite possible if it gets bad, which is why we start them on the medication as well to help prevent that.
Now, in terms of somebody who is an average Malawian, how do they access medical care for this? Is it our government hospitals, or is it an issue of just stepping into a pharmacy and getting medication?
So with sickle cell, I think it's actually quite important that you have frequent visits with an actual hospital or clinic, where you actually meet a doctor to have proper checkups and follow up frequently. So just walking into a pharmacy to address the problems on your own, I wouldn't recommend that. But the good part about Malawi, how people are fortunate is that, our government system, we have free healthcare, so it's available to all people. And within the government hospitals as well, you do have clinics specifically for people with sickle cell. Sickle cell clinics are held at least every week, where people come in and basically you follow them up properly to see how things are going with their medication, if you need to change anything. And you just see how they're doing, how they're coping with it.
Now, I mean, because on Healthy Living, we obviously cover everything in terms of dieting, physical, which means working out. Quickly, let's talk about dieting and sickle cell anemia. Does that matter, the kind of food that you eat when you have sickle cell?
So I think, seeing as in all people really, what you eat is very important. With sickle cell, I think it is quite important as well, especially since with the issue of the fact that your body is basically for over a long time that it has to deal with these different stresses, and how it's not getting enough oxygen, and the different nutrients are what are needed in the growing process. And since this is affecting children as well in the age that they're growing, you need to make sure that you're having a properly balanced diet, because they tend to be at risk of stunting and being underweight. So you need to make sure that the food that they're eating is nutritious enough, not only in terms of the nutrients itself, but also in terms of its how rich in iron it is, because they do tend to also be at risk of anemia. So you want foods that also boost your blood.
I mean, based on the agricultural landscape in Malawi, what kind of food would you say that is?
So,
literally giving examples,
Oh, okay. So, I would think one thing that we do see helps a lot is, especially in terms of the porridge, to make sure you have, a mix of different legumes and products in there. So in your porridge, you could mix in peanuts, you could mix in soya beans, literally the different kinds of legumes. Other people also do crush beans themselves and then also cook that as well within the porridge itself. As well, red meat does also help in terms of boosting iron levels, but also leafy green vegetables also do boost those as well. So you just want to make sure that you have things within the different, 5 food groups.
Can someone with sickle cell work out?
Yes, they can work out.
Are they encouraged to?
They are still able to live normal lives, fairly normal lives. You would encourage them to still, be active, be healthy. You would, of course, want to, perhaps maybe not overexerting themselves, though, because you don't want their oxygen levels to drop as well. But then, fairly good normal exercise is okay, that's encouraged.
So they can walk, they can run, just not excessive type of. Is there a time limit to how long they can work out?
Well,
because they say a good workout session should at least last an hour, right? So should they go the hour, or should it be 30 minutes, or is it 10 minutes? And also, what kind of physical activity are they doing? So
I think it varies per person. So it depends on how often, what kind of crises they have, how often they have. Ideally, I would say that people with sickle cell should ideally go and speak to their doctor about exercise and get their own tailored regimen for exercise regimen tailored to them. But otherwise, it also depends on they themselves during the exercise. How are they feeling? If they start to feel shortness of breath or any pain, then they shouldn't really push through that much.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, very, very insightful indeed. Speaking of working out and being physical, coming up next here on Healthy Living.
Hi, this is the fitness operator and my colleague Wate. We're here again with another workout. Today we're giving you full combat body conditioning. Be with us, train with us. Paleta, and my colleague. We thank you for training with us. Remember, COVID-19 is real. Keep safe, keep fit. Remember, each exercise takes you 30 seconds. Have a rest for another 30 seconds before you hit the other exercise. To acknowledge all our viewers across Malawi and around the world, we thank you for liking the Body Project page. Make sure you subscribe and have notifications on. Thank you so much.
Well, that's all we had for you on this week's edition of Healthy Living. I was with Dr. Natasha Banda, who really explained to us some insightful and informative information about sickle cell anemia. We learned a lot today. And also we had our dieting segment and also our physical segment. Until next time, please remember that this program is sponsored by MASM, and you are with me, Tabby Kamangala.
Life is an up and down journey where anything can happen at any time. But at any time, you have peace of mind with MASM. MASM offers all-inclusive affordable medical aid cover in various packages of schemes in line with your budget, with a promise to take care of you and your family in that time of dire need. From giving you access to medical services at hospitals locally and abroad, emergency evacuation, dentist, and optical care, all the way to funeral benefits. MASM is there holding your hand, keeping you covered. For details of the medical scheme you need, call 01-820-298, 01-820-543, 0888-707-100, fax 01-820-217, email infodesk@masm.mw, or visit www.masm.mw. MASM, your ultimate healthcare solution.
Sometimes
Stating the obvious.
is your only choice.
Times Television.
Times Television